January 15th. What's up, guys? Leadership quote of the day. I'm Stephen Cochran with Impression Management, and I was asked a question about these. Where do the quotes come from? None of them come from the computer. None of them come from the internet. I have 10 different books that have a variety of different kinds of quotes in them, like this one. This is called History in Quotations. This is 9,000 quotes from different people throughout history describing their time in some really profound, succinct way. I love that book. This one today is Sir Leslie Stephen, and it comes out of this Elbert Hubbard's scrapbook. He was a journalist, and while he traveled and learned, he kept a scrapbook of all the quotations that he thought were really impactful. Some of them are like paragraphs long. This one, thankfully, is just a little bit shorter. So straight to it then. This quote is, "The only way in which one human being can properly attempt to influence another is the encouraging him to think for himself, instead of endeavoring to instill ready-made opinions into his head." Now, I don't have a date on it, but just the life of Leslie Stephen, who's actually Virginia Woolf's father, fun fact, 1832 to 1904, so a while ago. First thing this makes me think of, you ever wonder why your advice doesn't stick with people? Well, question, do you start it with one of the following phrases? You should, you need to, you oughta, all you gotta do, if I were you, any of these lead-ins that make it so painfully obvious that it is not the idea of the person that you're talking to. I mean, just think about yourself. It's very difficult to take advice from other people knowing that they don't know most of what's going on in your life. So that's the first thing it makes me think of. The second thing, though, as far as leadership goes, is a really important part of it, of establishing what exactly that means for you, is what is driving you? Or more specifically, what direction do you want your life to be headed in? Because there's a variety of options. And not until you figured that part out can you start to set the circle that you want to exist in. Because when you get really determined in the direction you're headed in, whatever your overall vision for how you want your life to go, until you get really particular about that and then start setting up your environment to facilitate that, influence is something that can only be done by giving your ideas to other people. But then once you get really sure about what it is you're doing, you'll find yourself more and more surrounded with the sorts of people and the sorts of conversations where that's not necessary because they're all headed in the same direction as you. Mm-hmm. It's only when you're constantly working with and working on people that don't align with you in this directional way that you have to keep trying to force feed them these ideas, because they won't get there on their own. So it actually requires you to do some deep self-assessment of what you're trying to do, and then make sure that your surroundings match that, so that you have like-minded people around, and then you'll find that you do more learning than teaching. Because there's 1,000 ways to get where it is that you want to go, and you're only going to be able to think of a few of them. So when you get people around you that are broadly headed in the same direction, are motivated and incentivized by the same values as you are, then all you really do want to do is push them to think for themselves. You've already got the ideas in your brain. Now you can take advantage of and help them take advantage of the ideas in all of their brains. And that's where this notion of we're very, very strong on our own. People are very creative. We all have a lot of abilities. So when you lead a group, or when you exhibit leadership skills within a group, that's when you see exponential change. So those are the two ideas that I get from this quotation. And I'm really curious what you got from it. So I'll see you for the next one.